Hi, so in my last video, I talked a lot about how to sort of meet your soul's calling, how to start practical steps perhaps towards a path towards deeper excavation in your life, deeper internal excavation of your soul and your heart and all of that. And that's all lovely. But I didn't talk too much about what happens when you can't, for whatever reason. When, say, you've got a big dream, there's something you want to do, but you can't do it because you've got obligations in your life, and how difficult that is. And that's worth a mention as well, because many of us find ourselves at times in our lives where we have a dream, but it seems impossible. We have a calling or we have a yearning, but it seems impossible because you've got all these other obligations at play. And an example of that for me would be some years ago when I had just a yearning to go to another country. And I just felt a bit of a spiritual pull to go to this country. And I couldn't do it. And my mum was ill at the time. And so I didn't go. I couldn't go. I couldn't justify going. But I felt like I was on such a treadmill and I really wanted to go. And so I guess that's a really difficult one, isn't it? You have to just navigate that as best you can. There might be other things that you can do to help yourself to grow in other ways. So for me, I had a different job, and the job took up an awful lot of my headspace. It took up an awful lot of my time and gave me quite a bit of a new challenge, which was brilliant. But it can be that you still got this bittersweet, you might find yourself in that new job and that might be great, but you might still have this sense of longing and yearning within you, and a sense that this is something you would love to do, but you can't. So you've got this really difficult feeling that you just have to sit with and you just have to work through. And that, of course, in itself is part of a whole nother challenge. If you wanted to grow and learn, well, growing and learning through that, of course, in itself is a challenge. It's going to stretch you and it is going to be uncomfortable at times. And it's no less worthy than the challenge of going off and meeting your heart's longing in some romantic dream, This is every bit as worthy, if not more so, because there's that element of you putting self aside, I guess, on some level. Whether you want to or not, you kind of just have to do it, and you kind of just have to get on with it. And I think that represents a sort of real world scenario for an awful lot of people, that you can't just go diving off, and doing whatever your heart or your soul are trying to get you to do, or want you to do. So I guess, finding ways to channel it in other ways. So maybe being more creative, getting out more when you can. Getting out in nature is obviously grounding, meditating, connecting with the divine, because you can connect with the divine anywhere. That doesn't require a change of location. Trying to come back to center, trying to come back to being present with yourself. Trying to connect with creativity again. All of those things still valid. But really honouring your choice, because it's a heck of a difficult choice. And maybe making plans, making future plans when you will be able to do this thing that you really want to do, whatever it is. Because nothing stays the same forever, right? So this too shall pass, and there will be a day when you have your time, when you're able to go forward and do this thing that you want to do. So you could make plan for it. You can maybe make a 5-year plan where you can save up enough money and try and work out how that's going to look and all the rest of it. So I guess having a plan for the future is quite a nice way of looking at it as well, because then it means you're not saying never. You're not saying you can never do this. You're saying it's still possible. You're just going to put it off for a time. And in the meantime, here are some other cool things that you can do. And so I guess I just wanted to add that as well, as a way to sort of honour all the people out there who have really heavy commitments who can't swerve them and go dancing off into the sunset, dancing the light fandango, who have to actually just stay and put in that work as well. And yeah, and there are still ways to answer. There are still ways to answer that call within to some degree, depending on what it is. If it is a call to travel, then no, maybe you can't do that, but maybe you can do more things outside your comfort zone, or do more things that are unexpected. Take yourself out of your routine a little bit and try to do things that are different. Just trying to do something a little bit different in your life and trying to find ways to disrupt your well-worn routine if you can. And if you need help, asking for help too, making sure that you don't feel too bogged down, and making sure you're not in overwhelm as much as possible. If you're feeling it a bit, if you're feeling that you've got that weight on your shoulders of having to just turn up and be there for other people and just having to do your routine, you know? Because it can be a lot. It can be a lot for anyone. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. And I thought I'd make it a separate video now because I rattled on for long enough in my last one. So yeah, if you find yourself in the role, say, of a carer, that there is no sort of heavier obligation or responsibility there. And obviously you need to make sure that someone else is stepping in to help you if possible, because it can be pretty rough for carers at times, and you need to make sure that you are just doing the things that you need to do to take care of yourself as well, and your mental health as well. You know, probably thinking about dreams and all the rest of it, you might need to just bench all that. You might need to just bench all that if you're in a position of particularly heavy obligation. Know that it isn't forever. Try and just take breathers and sit with whatever you need to sit with, and try and do something nice for yourself at least once a week if you can, because you can't show up for anybody else if you're running on empty, you know? So if you can, just take yourself off, do something nice. What's your favourite thing to do? Go and do that. You know, go up on a glider, go swimming, go snorkeling, go tramping through the woods, go out with friends for a coffee, maybe have a night where you just go out and have a few drinks with your friends, go and see family, anything that just makes you feel human again and a bit more like yourself, that just acts as a pressure release valve just for a time. And as I say, any long-term goals that you've got that you're just burning to do, just see if you can draw up a longer-term plan and wiggle that into your life in some way, a little bit longer term, but it's still going to happen. Your time is still going to come one of these days. So it's just trying to find a bit of a balance and a bit of a breather there. And make time to just honour that journey you're on as well. Because if you're in that position where you're caretaking in one way or another for somebody else, or you've got the weight of that responsibility around you, it's a lot. And it can have repercussions on you mentally, physically, emotionally, in ways that you're not even consciously aware of sometimes. You know, it can just take a toll. And so just being gentle with yourself, just understanding when you're in a bit of need, when you're in a bit of a lower state perhaps, and just sitting with that and just reaching out. And don't ever be afraid to reach out to other people as well. But I just wanted to add that in there as well, because so many people suffer and struggle on, and some people find it really difficult to ask for help anyway. So I think just try to ask for that help. Try to reach out. Try to talk to people. Sometimes just the simplest act of talking about a problem can make you feel a little bit better in the moment, because you feel seen, you feel heard, you've offloaded, and You might just feel just a tiny bit of relief. Don't try and, struggle alone with it. No man is an island and all of that. So don't sit with your problems on your own. Reach out to somebody else. If you've got friends, talk to them. Family, talk to them. And if you struggle and haven't got many people around you, find a type of helpline and call that. Just the act of talking, the act of speaking about your problems can be a really powerful thing. And the act of somebody else listening can really help as well. And know that you'll get through this. And this too is a crisis point. This too is a journey that needs to be honoured. It's going to be a difficult journey, potentially. And it's a huge challenge just to not let it break you. So just try and honour the journey that you're on and give yourself permission to have these days off when you can, to come back to centre, to come back to yourself. Deep breathe, meditate, take yourself out in nature, do whatever you need to do. Do whatever you need to do to come back to you, and certainly developing a relationship with God, with Source, with Creator at this time as well, if you can. To just give you that sense that you're not alone, and that you are this eternal being having a human experience. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in there as well. If anybody is going through anything along those lines at the moment. So I hope you're doing okay, and I hope you have a good week. Take care. God bless.